Welcome back to this year's Energy Intelligence Forum. I'm joined this afternoon by some of our Leaders for Tomorrow scheme winners. Congratulations, everyone, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Thank you. Just to start off, can you tell me what it means to you to be selected as a winner of Energy Intelligence's Leaders for Tomorrow scheme?
Sure. I'm really thrilled to be here as part of the Energy Leader for Tomorrow program. It has definitely been an eye-opening experience to hear and learn from the top executives in the industry and being able to keep up with the current events in the energy industry. This award represents a huge honor. At the same time, it also instills me a great sense of responsibility. As our industry is embracing low carbon strategy, I think the definition of future energy leader is also evolving. And it's partially about having leaders that would have taken a holistic approach to understand the energy landscape.
Thank you for that. Can I ask you guys what your key takeaways have been from the Energy Intelligence Forum so far?
Now, from the discussions we've been listening to the past 2 days, it's interesting to listen to various business leaders, finance institutions, global political leaders, as well as industry professionals come together under the same platform to discuss the future of energy production and consumption, and more importantly, how to accelerate the transition to low carbon economy to fuel economic development in a post-COVID-19 world. Now, some of the really interesting takeaways, lots of them, but for the sake of time, is that it's obvious that global energy demand is predicted to see an uptick after the recent downturn in demand as a result of the pandemic. And one of the energy sources to keep an eye on is increasing production in the gas sector, especially as a result of new finds in Mozambique, Nigeria, Qatar, and other nations. But it's also very important that the energy industry continues to take the front seat in the drive for decarbonization to avert the existential threat posed by climate change. The second is that the right kinds of policies are extremely important to drive the energy transition. And that is what we do at the Center on Global Energy Policy at Columbia University, where I work, where we design policies to ensure a cleaner, better world. The third I found was very interesting was that it's no news anymore that low carbon technologies such as carbon capture, utilization, and storage is extremely important to achieve rapid decarbonization of hard to abate sectors such as the industrial sector, the power sector, the transport sector. And that fourthly, that China's announcement to achieve net zero emissions by 2060 sets the tone for other huge energy consuming and emitting nations to set clear targets towards achieving net zero, hopefully by mid-century. But however, China's target requires that the country starts working aggressively now to achieve them. Fifth, government support is very essential to drive the energy transition globally. And that could come in form of policy pronouncements, tax incentives, procurement policies, and so on, so as to scale deployment of carbon removal technologies. And we discussed details of these incentives, how much they cost, and what sets of policies are needed to deploy them in a paper I co-authored with the amazing Dr. Julio Friedman and Jeffrey Brown at the Center on Global Energy Policy, Columbia University, this May. And finally, green and blue hydrogen is critical to ensure rapid decarbonization of hard to abate emissions from stationary sources, as well as the transport sector. And it's really interesting to note that Saudi Arabia has taken the front seat in their efforts to develop a circular carbon economy. Thank you, Alexandra.
Thank you so much for that. It was really interesting. Moving on to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this has had a huge impact on oil and gas demand around the world. What, in your opinion, is the biggest COVID-related hurdle, and how will all of this impact the energy transition?
Thank you very much for this interesting question. And we all know that how this pandemic has really hit hard the energy industry, the whole world economy in general, but the energy industry in particular. And we've seen how the acronym VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, really fits into the equation at the moment. Because while the companies are deciding on their policies, deciding on their investments, we're seeing reports that the E&P companies in the upstream oil and gas sector are reducing their investments and to focus more on COVID relief related funding rather than on the funds related to energy transition in general. And what this really, in my opinion, really means is that we are really in the middle of trying to navigate through the pandemic, and somewhere there's a risk that we'll be lost, not investing enough in E&P and also not investing enough to have a successful transition towards the future. And therefore, what I feel, what we have learned, from the leaders in these past 2 days in this forum is that we need to transition this acronym VUCA into a different context. So we need to have a vision, an understanding, a clarity, and agility in order to have a successful transition towards the futuristic energy paradigm. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And finally, do you see yourself being an instrument of change in the future?
Energy has been playing such a fundamental role in everybody's life, and it's definitely a privilege for me to be able to work in this industry that's so tied to everyday people's life, as well as with the economic prosperity of the world. So yes, definitely, I'm very motivated to be an instrument for future change and be part of the forces that's going to push for the energy transition. It's been enlightening to be part of the conference and being able to explore the different voices across different segments in the energy industry, and understanding that constant technology improvement is the key for the industry to become better and better. I would definitely keep this in mind, and as I'm progressing professionally in my career.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, and thank you to all of you for joining me, and congratulations again.
Thank you.